Hello, auction friends. It's Sherry Truler with Red Apple Auctions. It's a beautiful morning here in Washington, D.C. The sun is shining. I hear the birds chirping. It's a great time to shoot a video. It's nice to hear that background of nature as I do this. I wanted to talk today about the big why. You know, since COVID-19 really disrupted our auction fundraising season this spring, I've been leading some conversations about virtual events and how to do them, and trying to make some trying to give some helpful advice as to how you should proceed. And so today I really want to focus on why you're having your event and how that will dictate whether or not you should cancel or reschedule or go virtual. And I've got I think it's five different examples here. So we'll go into this. I want to go back though and first talk a little bit. When I was in my last corporate job working for GE, the last role I had for them was doing corporate events, all of their trade shows and management meetings and so forth. And I was put into that role. I didn't interview for it. I was kind of assigned into that role. It's a long story, but I got pushed into it. And so I said, well, hey, if I'm being forced to do this, then I need some training because this is not my background. And so they agreed that they would pay for some education. So I went to George Washington University. They have an event certificate program that you can go through. And I went through that. And one of the best pieces of advice I got in that program was whenever you're planning an event, you want to ask why. Why are you having this event? Because that dictates everything else that you plan. If you are talking about something and you're trying to figure out the best course of action, you think about, now, wait a second, why are we having this event? Does that foster that mission? Does whatever we're discussing, that decision, help achieve our goal of why we're having this event? And if not, you let it go, right? One of the examples that I can give on a personal note here, working with nonprofits, sometimes people will say that the fundraising is the primary goal, but then we get into the nitty-gritty and come to find out that this is really about the gala chair's vision for a party. And it's less about the fundraising, so some decisions are being made. Case in point, here's a great one. I do not like having a huge dance floor between me and the bidders. I like to engage my bidders. I go out into the room. I work with it within the room itself. It's very hard to do that if you've got a huge dance floor between you, or if you're on the dance floor and you have to walk this way and that way and forward to get to people. It's not nearly as intimate or creates the energy I'm looking for. But if the focus is on having a great dance party, then having that dance floor in the front is important. So the big why is we're having a big party with a big dance element to it, less about the fundraising. That's how an example of how that might work. So in this case, what I want to do is take you through some examples of why you are having your event and help dictate what you should do in light of COVID-19 to help you decide moving forward. The first big why. Why? We're having it to raise money, Sherry. This is the biggest fundraiser of the year. We are dependent on the income that comes from this. If that's your big why, and you are and the fundraising is critical, absolutely go virtual. No question about it. I would not skip the year because you can't afford to skip to 2021. I would not delay, because if you delay to the fall, first off, we may be in another situation where we're all shelter in place. Second of all, you're going to have so much competition in the fall because you have had a lot of events jump to the fall. So now you're going to be competing for both audience and for dollars. And by the way, you may be competing for dollars in an economy that's worse. So if your event is supposed to be held here this spring, summer, and fundraising is critical, go virtual. The great thing about it is your net expenses are so much less. And so in that sense, you're not even going to have to raise as much to make what you did in prior years. So that would be my advice if fundraising is the critical reason as to why you're having your event. Number two, what if it's a celebration, right? Maybe it's the end of a capital campaign for you, and you were really hoping to have this big shindig to thank everyone and celebrate. Maybe it's about a particular person that you're getting ready to celebrate in that sense. In that case, I'd say delay. Delay the event, maybe skip a year, but I would say delay would probably be the approach that I would look for on something like that. You want to be able to foster those connections and celebrate together. And if that's the case, if celebration is really where your big why is, I would delay. You'll have more success delaying than you will, I think, in a virtual environment. Number 3, Sherry, our big why is we're honoring someone. Joe and Agnes have given millions of dollars. They helped build this facility for us. Joe and Agnes have been huge supporters since our nonprofit started. We love Joe and Agnes, and we want to honor Joe and Agnes. If you're honoring someone, I'd go virtual. I get really nervous about delaying thank yous or skipping them until 2021. You know, I've had 2 gala chairs that have passed within 1 to 3 weeks of hosting their gala. One died in a plane crash, the other one died of illness. And you shouldn't delay a thank you. I think you can do a nice job of honoring someone virtually. You can incorporate in videos. You can make it special. I would angle it on the side of virtual than the side of delay or skipping the year. You know, Father Time and Mother Nature wait for no one. They both have perfect records. And if one of them does not take you out, the other one will. They're undefeated. So from that standpoint, who knows what's going to happen if you delay? Thank them now. Do it virtually. Another example, what if your big why is education? Maybe you're new to the community, you're a relatively new nonprofit, you're still trying to get the word out about your services and what you do in the community. Oh my gosh, go virtual. You got to go virtual. It's cheaper to host. You won't be charging money for tickets. You are able to get the word out in a larger way. You can put out a call for volunteers if that's what your mission needs. I think it's a great way to introduce you to other people through a virtual environment. And then, yeah, start to build up that Facebook fan page, start to build up your email list, and be able to have a proper in-person event when things chill out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, the big why. Well, this is more the industry that you're in, depending on the industry that you're in. If you're a nonprofit who's really at the front line right now, you're a hospital foundation, you're a medical clinic, you're doing something that is really in the news right now, I would say this is your time to shine. You delay, you skip, out of sight, out of mind. Right now, the theater curtains have parted. The spotlight is on you. All of the media attention is on healthcare. You got to take advantage of it. The curtain call is going to be coming. You want to take advantage of the money right now. People are appreciative today. So I would go virtual with that. Make sure that they know what you're doing. And you can bask in all of that sunshine that's going to be directed to you. And it's not in an ambulance chasing sort of a way. You're doing the work right now. So I do think that if you're in that realm, I would go virtual for it. So there you go. Some delays, some skips, some virtual, just kind of depending on where you are in your big why. I'm going to leave you with that so that you can mull that over with your committee, your board, your coworkers, and so forth. Hey, I'm Sherry with Red Apple Auctions. If you would like to visit with me about serving as your in-person or virtual auctioneer, we do that now, then by all means head over to my website at redappleauctions.com. If you go to the Contact Us page, you'll see a link where you can set up a virtual meeting with me to visit about your event. I look forward to that time. In the meanwhile, hey, good luck to you and your benefit auction.